It's been a year of ups and downs. I think there's a lot of good things to take away and a lot of things you can definitely learn from. I mean, coming into the year, you don't really know what to expect, it being my first year pro, but I can say I learned a lot, and we had an awesome group of guys here and a great staff. So, I'm really excited for a good summer here. You know a lot of what you need to work on to be a good player in this league and to kind of excel at this level. So I'm going to take everything I learned and try to have a good summer.
Was it that? What is it that you think you need to work on your game most for over the off season?
Just adding layers to my game. I think I was pretty strong on the defensive side of the puck and everything like that, but I'm still trying to find a way to produce offensively at this level consistently. And working with skills coaches and the Flame staff this summer, I think we'll be able to find a way to do that, so I can hopefully translate a little more offense next year.
Coach mentioned in his interview that you were one of the more impressive players, I think, for him over the course of the season. What does it mean to you to have a coach like Ryan Huska, who is really back in everything that you've done, even if the points haven't been falling for you, which I know you'd wanted to score a few more points this year than you did?
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about not only Ryan but the staff here with how they help me. If the offense isn't coming, they've really helped me kind of round out the rest of my game, and I give them full credit for that. They worked with me a lot one-on-one and stayed a lot of extra time and a lot of extra hours helping me out. So it definitely feels good to have that, I guess, respect or the pat on the back from those guys. But at the end of the day, that's their job is to hopefully develop you as a player, and hoping to looking to take another step this summer and just round out that game even more next year.
What's the key to taking that next step for you?
Well, I've always been a hard worker, and it's going to be no different this summer, but I'm going to take a bit of a different approach, try to work on a lot of fine-tuning of the skills and honestly the fun stuff, the offensive side of the game. So it's going to be a good summer, going to work with some new people, and you kind of got to expand it. I've been doing the same thing for a couple summers now, and I'm going to kind of take a different approach and kind of come back next year with a fresh new attitude and look on the way I play the game.
What's the mindset of a player like yourself? You're coming back to this organization, but obviously there's going to be some roster spots that are opening up at the big club. Do you feel like you can do enough this offseason, that you've shown enough to maybe get a look next year, or certainly with a strong training camp, maybe start the year like Brett did earlier this year?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, it only matters what you're doing for people right now, and what you've done in the past is definitely weighs in on a little bit. But if I show up next year and have a good camp and have a good off season this year, and there's plenty of examples like Brett or guys like Josh Juris that have made the team out of camp. So that's definitely where I'm going to set my sights. Obviously, your goal is to play in the NHL, and like I said, I do work hard and I take pride in that. But this summer I'm going to take it to another level.
You got any plans this offseason, not hockey related?
Not so much right now. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, kind of getting your summer organized for who you're going to train with and where you're going to go for that type of thing. I got family all over in Saskatchewan and even in Denver now, so I'll probably be out there for a bit and maybe see Shoresy. But no, nothing firmed up right now. Maybe get to Kelowna for a bit. That's one of my popular summer destinations.
And you did a lot here in the community in Stockton. Was there anything you take away from your first season here in Stockton about the community itself?
It was awesome. I mean, you look at that last home game we had an awesome turnout there. The fans are so supportive, and I love doing that. I love giving back. There's a lot of good events like that I was fortunate enough to go to, and I'll continue to do that if I'm back here next year. But I don't have enough good things to say about the people here. The people that come to the game and our fans are really our true fans, and it was great from a team standpoint. We really appreciated that.
You were only one of two players that appeared in every community appearance except for one, with Bryce. Easily, you both could have been named the Man of the Year award. Does that something that you kind of are pretty proud of, that you stepped up in the community here, and has your family maybe mentioned anything about how proud they are of you and doing stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're not from here, so they can't really appreciate the things you do, but yeah, they definitely are proud of that. It's something that is part of the job, and I think everyone should be doing that. But they're fun. You get to interact with people who support you on a daily basis and deeply care about how you do. So I don't see why you wouldn't do it. And all the events were really fun this year, and it was good. It was good to do it with Bryce and a lot of the guys that did go to a few of them.
I'm just curious, did you know that you had a 16-game streak from February to March where you were even or better?
Yeah, I kind of blew that one up last night. Someone said that the day before yesterday's game might have jinxed me a bit there, but I didn't know that until I heard it. I knew that I'd been pretty consistent in that stat category. It's one of the only ones that I was, but I try to play the game the right way every night, and I guess it was working out for me. But yeah, it kind of blew up last night.
Do you like being called when coach calls you a safe player? Is that something that you're proud of too?
It's yes and no. I mean, you got to be a responsible player. I like that word a bit more than safe, because I do try to play the game without making mistakes. Obviously, no one's going to be a perfect player, but I think there is an element of a game that I need to add, and maybe that is a bit of a risk factor. The coaches might not like to hear that as much, but to produce at this level, I think you need to do that. There's got to be a fine balance, and that's one of the things you learn. It's my first year pro, and in this off season, I'm gonna work towards that. Maybe adding a little bit of a risk to my game so you can kind of produce a bit more. But at the end of the day, I am known for being a responsible two-way player, so you got to make sure that's the backbone of your game.
And for you, obviously, everyone always says that it's bigger and faster when you make the jump from the juniors to here. But now that you've made that full jump, what is the other differences from junior hockey to pro hockey?
Yeah, I mean, faster is a term I would use to describe the time and space that you have. It's not even that it's always quicker. You have to learn. You're playing against new players. In the Western League, by your fourth or fifth year, everyone like the back of your hand. You know what they're going to do, whoever you're playing against and the guys you're playing with. And coming to this league, you don't really know a lot of guys. So to know what guys are going to do in situations, it's not always faster, but if they're going to take away your time, if they're not going to do that, I think that was the biggest thing that I had to learn and kind of adjust to throughout the year. And I think, I started to figure that out near the end. You get pretty familiar with players and you start to figure out their tendencies, and you can kind of exploit it a bit more.
I was gonna say, at what point did you kind of start to figure out where you fit in and how to play at this level?
Yeah, I mean, I think Christmas was kind of when I started to get my feet rolling a bit, and then AllStar Break after that, I felt pretty good. And honestly, it was every day for me. I started to take steps. It did take a little bit longer than I would have hoped, but not everyone's going to transition right away. If you're playing in roles that you're not, usually accustomed to, or just those roles, you got to figure it out. You got to find a way to contribute. But I think throughout the year, Christmas, All-Star Break, those little steps, even up to leading up to the last couple of games, I think I personally just got better every game, and I think that's what everyone tries to do.
Was it hard to get some traction early on too because of the injury and you missed a few games?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Obviously, you never want that, and you try to find your niche on the team earlier on in the year. And being a rookie, it's tough to do that when we had a lot of good guys this year that could play, and top six roles up and down the lineup, penalty kill, power play. So I think I started to figure out my role as the season went on, but yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate at the beginning of the year there.
Did it mean a lot to be able to come back from that and pick up kind of because you had an injury later in the season,
Mm-hmm.
you missed a little bit of time and came back.
Yep.
You got right back to where you were playing prior to that in a few games. Did it mean a lot to you to be able to come back from that and pick up right where you left off?
Yeah, you always you want to be consistent every night, and you want to show everyone in the coaching staff and the players that you can be that same player every night. And missed a bit of time there. It wasn't anything serious, but to be able to come back and kind of get rolling right again kind of showed me that I had taken those steps, and I was pretty comfortable with where I was at and what I was contributing on a nightly basis.
Any veteran leader on this team that you maybe looked up to? I know that there were quite a few, and sometimes they were either out of the lineup or they were missing via injury. Aaron missed a lot of time. Colton missed a lot of time. Steve-O missed a few games here and there. But was there anyone in particular that you kind of looked up to during your first pro season?
Yeah, I mean, you named three of them right there. It's tough. That's the nature of this business. Guys are in and out of the lineup. They're hurt or they're scratched, whatever it may be. But those three guys for sure were big influences on me. Blair Riley, Drew Shore, guys that I've played in the NHL, been around this league a long time, and just know the ins and outs of the game. I don't have enough good things to say about them. They do really help you out as a young guy, and I have a lot of respect for that because they took a lot of time out of their daily schedules or whatever it is to just kind of see how you're doing, and you really appreciate that. And I make sure I let them know that at the end of the year here because I was an older guy in junior, and you do have to make a conscious effort to do that, and I really appreciate that from those guys.